it sounds like you were an early adopter from a payer point of view of the use of SGLT inhibition in heart failure without diabetes. How will you look at the impact of making that decision? What are the sort of patient improvements, healthcare utilization measures, et cetera, that you'll be looking at to say, yes, I feel good about the decision we made, or I feel like it's having the impact we wanted it to make?
Yeah, I mean, just to put in perspective, just think about the cause of single hospitalization. When you're preventing readmissions, we, as I said before, we're not there yet when we talk about evaluating the quality of life. Those patients will have better quality of life. They stay out of the hospital. They'll be able to walk around, breathe better, be more functional. But from the economic standpoint, right now, the tools that we have, you just simply, the readmission alone makes a big difference in just making those decisions forward.
Okay. And Dr. Nissen, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, thank you. First of all, I don't want us to entirely blame the payer community for the problem.
Thank you.
And we're not going to let you, so it's okay.
You know, there's this phenomenon, and we need to talk about it frankly, which is, you know, sometimes called clinical inertia, and it's powerful. I mean, it's this, you know, people train, they learn a certain way of doing things, they seem to have some success with it, and they kind of go with the flow, and new science comes along, and that's why programs like this are really important, because we really have a role to play. All of us have a role to play, both the payers and the people that are working in the clinical community, to educate people about this. You know, I lived through this during the development of the statins, where years after we had evidence of huge morbidity mortality benefit for statins, we weren't getting people on statins. They were not getting on statins at the rates that they should. And it wasn't necessarily the payers, it was us. And I think that we need to find effective tools for dealing with clinical inertia. Some of it is incentives. You mentioned this, Nihar, and I think that's a very important point that you made. But I'd be interested in comments from anybody about how do we get people to get with the program, you know, to actually do this. And we've really not been as effective as I would like.
I think your sort of call to action is incredibly important. I think that starts with clinicians, with providers, to educate ourselves, but also to engage with each other. You know, to talk to colleagues, to have forums like this one, which which, as you said, I think is important for disseminating ideas and having some back and forth. But then also sort of reimagining, what a high value, high reliability, learning healthcare system could and should do for our patients. This example of SGLT2s and heart failure and cardiovascular disease and diabetes, I think is really exposed, many of the things which have plagued our system for too long. And I hope that we take this as an opportunity to, commit ourselves to educating one another, to engaging with one another, and really thinking anew about what a patient's care and their care experience should be like.